people too. Come on in. You all look so tired. Come in. Hi, new people. Thank you so much for coming by and for being part of my channel. Please, definitely give that thumbs up if you like it. Share it. Definitely comment. I love the comments. I love interacting with you guys. I love knowing what you think. I love when you interact with each other. It's just we're all part of this big community, and we take this big old world and make it smaller. And my returning people, hi guys. I see you. I see you. I know you. So, thank you, and please keep those comments coming, you guys. So, I think I'd like to help you fall asleep tonight. So, I think the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to try to read to you tonight. And the first thing that we need to do is to get our lighting the way we want it. I have my electric candles going, my battery operated ones. And you can have whatever kind of lighting you want. And you can even wear a sleep mask. Because I don't show any illustrations, I'm just going to read to you. So if you want, you don't even have to look at the screen, okay? But Auntie Angel has one rule. Absolutely no lit candles when you're trying to rest or sleep. It's just too dangerous, and you guys are way too important to me, okay? So once you get your lighting the way you want it, I want you to get comfy wherever you are. Whether it's a bed or a couch or a chair, a chaise, a hammock, lawn chair, sleeping bag, cushions on the floor. Whatever it is that makes you comfortable, be comfy. But let your muscles just relax. Just go like a noodle, okay? Just get yourself all comfy. Use a blanket if you need to. We're going to do our breathing exercises. So for you new people, we're working on training our brain so that whenever we do this breathing exercise, our brain sends the signal to the rest of our body to slow down, calm down, slow down. And we do this when we want to rest, relax, when we need to kind of stem some anxiety starting, or we start to feel a little bit panicky. We're trying to quell it before it starts, okay? Also, if you just need that minute, if everything around you is chaotic and you need to take time just for you, you've earned it. You deserve to be able to do it, okay? So I don't care if you have to go in an empty office, an empty closet, a room, a bathroom, I don't know. Just give yourself this, okay? So, we're going to breathe in through our nose for a count of 4. We're going to gently hold it for a count of 4. And then through pursed lips, we're going to breathe out slowly to a count of 4. If you can. If you can only do 1 or 2, you do what you can do. I know you're doing your very best, and that's all you need to do, okay? So, let's begin, okay? Everybody ready? Okay, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gently hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. Good. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gently hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. Excellent. Last one together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gently hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. Very good. That's excellent, you guys. Okay, now for the new people. Tonight we're going to be reading from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Making Me Time. And it's 101 stories about self-care and balance by Amy Newmark. I love the Chicken Soup books, and we read from these quite a bit. Okay, this is for the new people as well. I don't pick the story ahead of time. Never do. I have strong faith. Everyone can have their own. But I truly believe that I'm going to open this book to a story that one of you, maybe you, maybe you, maybe you, needs to hear tonight. So that's what we're going to do, okay? And Auntie Angel needs her specs. And I'm sorry I have to look down, but the ring light causes a glare. I'm hoping the new ring light that's coming tomorrow takes care of that. But for tonight, let's do this, shall we? Okay. Get yourselves comfy. Good job. All right, this one is being intentional about self-care. And all of these stories start off with a quotation. And this one is actually from Michelle Obama. I always try to remember that I'll be the best me I can be if I prioritize myself. And that is true, guys. So, in late 2011, my father was hospitalized in Kaufman, Texas. I was living 250 miles away in Houston, driving on weekends to be with him. He had been living with Alzheimer's for more than 12 years. My mom, who was much younger than my father, had resigned from her job in order to care for him full time. The doctor was making his morning rounds when I came around the corner. After listening to my dad's heart and his breathing, the doctor lingered in the room. The pause was long enough to become awkward. After glancing at the worried look on Mom's face, the doctor asked if I'd mind stepping outside with him to discuss a few things. I guess he thought I would be better able to handle what he was going to say. As a mom, that would just piss me right off, but okay. He reviewed my dad's vitals and shared the results from the few tests they had run. I remember hearing the doctor say, "Unfortunately, Mr. Louise's health is beginning to decline rapidly. He could pass away any time. It could be a week or a few months." Tears began to run down my face. My head immediately started throbbing, and I felt like someone had just placed 50 pounds of concrete on my shoulders. I thanked the doctor for his great care and for his bedside manner, and then I burst into uncontrollable tears. The poor man couldn't leave. I remember thinking, "Why are you being so dramatic right now, Laquita?" And then I thought, when will I have time to plan a funeral? My plate is full beyond belief. I managed to regain my composure and stuck my head back into the room to reassure Mom that everything was okay, and I would be back in very shortly after taking a work call. I felt as though I was about to have a panic attack. My heart was pounding. I couldn't breathe. My hands were trembling. I found a sign in the hallway pointing towards the chapel. I definitely needed a quiet place, somewhere I could meditate, reflect, and just gather in my thoughts. It was obvious that I was hopelessly overwhelmed. When I walked into the small, intimate room, I did feel immediate peace. It became evident that I had allowed work-related stress, church ministries, marriage expectations, volunteer commitments, and family obligations to completely overwhelm me. I had become too busy to be still. I began praying, and I was crying profusely at this self-discovery. I had simply failed to take care of my own personal needs. I asked God to give my family and me more time with Dad in order to get things both for myself and the needs of my family in order. Truth be told, my father had lived this long in part because of how he had taken care of himself. Even being over 80 years of age, the muscles in his arms and legs were still quite defined. He rarely ever raised his voice or ever showed visible stress. and he always found time to read his Bible and say his prayers every night. My dad passed away 4 months later. Shortly after Dad's burial, I began practicing daily downtime. My activities varied. 15 or 30 minutes of journaling, prayer, meditation, reviewing Sunday school lessons, or even yoga flow movements. When I first started this process, I had to set an alarm on my cell phone so that I always maintained a minimum of 10 minutes because my natural response was to get back up and get busy. 5 years ago, during one of my self-care sessions, God put it on my heart to start a nonprofit, Angels with a Mission, to provide hope and support to the homeless and to foster children. I was not sure how it was all going to come together, but I knew that I had to listen to the guidance I was receiving. I had always been an avid volunteer in my community, but starting a nonprofit was a bit adventuresome, should we say. It also sounded like a lot of work. I did recall that as a little girl, I watched my father grow vegetables year after year to pass out to the elderly citizens in our community. Aha! My dad engaged in what he enjoyed doing, gardening, and he was able to take the benefit from his hobby to bless those around him. As a result of learning to be intentional about taking care of me during my closet prayer time, the Lord revealed things to me to do. For instance, he placed individuals upon my heart who I might pray for or to reach out to, whether it was a phone call or a card. In the past, I would have been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to save the world. Now I knew that if I could just take time to be still, I could see what was in store for me. God literally took the footwork out of finding my purpose and delivered a clear roadmap for me to follow. Maya Angelou once said, "If I am not good to myself, how can I expect anyone else to be good to me?" This is so true. I have learned to never get too busy to take care of myself. Laquita Jean Starr. That's important advice, guys. Are you taking time for you? I kind of know the answer to that because you're watching ASMR right now. So let me tell you, I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. Shall we do another? Okay. How about the me that I am left with? And the quotation is by Eckhart Tolle. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. Ken and I had planned to grow old together. We were a team, the two of us. Two young gay men growing up in a small, decidedly conservative town. We had a lot in common. Plus, we had weathered storms. Times when we wouldn't speak, and times when we would speak, but would have been better off not doing so. We had been through a lot. After so much, it seemed like we were finally together for the long haul. That day at the apartment, we joked about growing old together. Ken described it in great detail. We will end up in an old folks' home, and I will still be trying to be sexy. He dramatically posed with his hands on his hips, laughing at the thought of, as he put it, being all segs but still trying to seduce. I could actually see Ken doing that. And what about me, I asked. What would I be doing? I was kind of hesitant to ask the question. I was well aware that I didn't have Ken's good looks, and I wasn't sure if that meant I would be so interesting in the future. Perhaps Ken would predict that I would, with my proven cleverness, be like a sort of media dawn on the geriatric ward. I could just picture it. If you want the bedpan delivered pronto, you ask Jack. He'll fix it for you. With this thought in mind, I looked at Ken hopefully for some answers. You? Oh, you'll be feeding your lunches to the cats that gather around our room windows. Deflated, I managed to comfort myself with the thought that at least I would have Ken there. If I was certain of one thing, it was that we would grow old together. The fact that he saw a future for us, it made me happy. I would be happy to tag along on whatever wild ride of his he wanted. However, only one of us left to grow old. Ken became one of the many victims of AIDS, losing his battle with the disease just 1 year before the cocktail of drugs that could have saved his life became available. Ken was hardly the only person in my life that I'd lost to AIDS, but he is by far the most significant. Losing him, I found I didn't know myself anymore. Everything in my life was related to Ken. Everything made me think of him. If I wore a certain shirt, I remembered a time when I was wearing it and he was by my side. If I was talking with a friend, I wanted him to interrupt and tell me I was being snobbish, something he often did. In everything there was Ken. It had been us, a team. And I was having a hard time being a team of one. I didn't like being me. I wasn't even sure who me was. The first years after his death, I sought him out to somehow resurrect his ghost. And that ghost haunted me in music, television, even the soda that I drank. You know that stuff is poison. That's why you look like you just stepped out of... I'm sorry, I can't read that word. I longed for Ken's reproof, even with the attached comment about my appearance. I wanted us back together. But in the end, I only went home with me, and I woke up with me. One day, feeling overwhelmed with loneliness for Ken, I decided I had to do something. I was someone before I ever knew Ken. What was that person like? What was the pre-Ken me like? It certainly wasn't easy. But like most people, I turned to my roots. Being Jewish wasn't really something I shared too much with Ken. He had Iberian roots that traveled deep into a glorious Castilian past. His lineage was linked with aristocracy, castles, and knights who defended Christendom for the Spanish sovereigns. I was descended from German Jews who became, in America, part of the Dixie Jews of the Old South, before traveling to California after the Second World War. As for me, the only South I knew was Southern California, and the assimilation practiced by previous generations left me aware of but detached from those roots. The German Jewish ancestors who traveled the southern states, peddling their wares, were remote, but they were the only resource I had to turn to. And to them I turned, my lifeline in a time of need. I pulled out the stored away items that represented the past. Looking over the prayer books, fading, a century old, that had been printed in Vienna, I saw the Hebrew characters with their English translation. Form of prayer for the festival of the New Year, according to the custom of the German and Polish Jews, 5660 to 1900. And so, placing the worn kippah upon my rather bald head, I began where so many people who found themselves lost begin, with a head bowed in prayer. As it happened, Rosh Hashanah would begin at sundown, the start of the Day of Awe, the days of repentance before Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And I had much to repent for. Ken was not with me, but I owed it to him to live on as he could not. I owed it to myself to live on. So, many years later, I recognize me once again. I try to live so as to exemplify the best in the Yiddish quality of being a Jew. I aim to be a mensch, although I still have a long way to go. I have found my secret of joy, and it lies in the knowledge that I am one of the chosen people. Not chosen for any favor, as many think that's what the term means, but chosen for the responsibility to promote love, even if it means being the target of someone's hate. In losing Ken, I lost a world that I'll never get back, but I was left with me, I can take all the love that I'm no longer able to shower upon Ken and water the world that is still here with me. I think there is no better way to honor him and live my best life at the same time. And somewhere in the past, I think there's an ancestor who probably looks very much like me, and who, with their head bowed in prayer, asked to be remembered. Looking in the mirror, I catch a glimpse of him, and I thank him for the lifeline given to me in my time of need. I thank him for being a part of me. Jack Byron. Okay, my little angels, I hope you enjoyed those, and I hope they spoke to you, and I hope that you're ready for sleep. I see some of you have already nodded off. I'm very glad. And what about you? Why are you still awake? Let me just brush your hair, Grisai. Yes. Close your eyes. This one and this one. Close them. And get ready to cross the threshold from awake to asleep. And know that I love you. I value you. I honor you. And I'm so very, very glad that you were born.